Part 1. Hello, my creative friends. Welcome back to a new journey where we'll explore the hidden power within ourselves. I am your guide, and today we're going to talk about a fascinating topic, yet often overlooked: the morning habits to spark creative thinking. You see, many people think creativity only comes from big, groundbreaking ideas, or from long, arduous hours of work, or perhaps from complex, advanced courses. But in reality, that's not entirely true. Creativity, much like a thriving tree, grows slowly, steadily, little by little, each and every day. And the very roots of that tree, the foundation of its strength, are your consistent daily habits. The way you choose to begin your day truly matters. It holds immense importance. Your morning energy, the focus you cultivate, and the very first thoughts that enter your mind as you wake up can profoundly shape your creative potential far more than you might ever imagine. Perhaps you've already tried numerous ways to find inspiration and generate new ideas. You might have downloaded countless apps designed for creativity, spent hours watching hundreds of tutorial videos, or even actively joined various creative communities and workshops. But despite all these efforts, sometimes that crucial spark, that essential piece, still feels missing. You still find yourself feeling stuck, experiencing a mental block when you desperately need a fresh idea. You still worry, hesitating, unsure of where exactly to begin your next project. What if the missing piece, that elusive element you've been searching for, isn't a completely new method or a revolutionary technique? What if it's much simpler? What if it's simply a brand new morning? Yes, a fresh, invigorated morning. What if small, seemingly insignificant actions performed consistently every single morning could gradually, subtly, yet powerfully transform the way you perceive and feel about creativity and ultimately about your own creative capabilities? That, my friends, is precisely what today's episode is all about. I will be sharing with you not one, not two, but 7 essential habits that highly effective and successful creators often incorporate into their morning routines. And please don't worry at all. These habits are all incredibly easy to implement. You can integrate them into your daily life right at home, during your commute on the bus, or even while performing simple tasks like brushing your teeth. You certainly don't need to dedicate a lot of time to them. What you truly need, above all, is just a little consistency. So I invite you now to find a comfortable spot. Take a deep, calming breath, allowing your mind to clear and open. Let's embark on this exciting journey together and start your creative morning. Part 2. All right, let's dive into our first powerful habit. Habit number 1, start your day with a mini idea alongside AI. Highly effective creators often begin their day by engaging with a small, manageable idea, and increasingly, they do so with the assistance of AI tools. From the very moment they open their eyes, they consciously try to connect with a spark of creativity. This connection doesn't have to be grand or complex, it can be incredibly simple. They might silently formulate a few sentences about a topic they're genuinely interested in, or perhaps a challenge they're facing. They might utter a quiet, "Good morning, world of ideas," to themselves, or even whisper, "Time to start my day with a new inspiration." Some might even describe to themselves in their minds or softly aloud what they see around them. When you first wake up, your brain is in a remarkably fresh state. There's a quietness inside your head, a lack of the day's usual clutter. This is precisely the perfect moment to gently fill it with creative thoughts and budding ideas. You can mentally describe what you feel. I feel very inspired and ready to think. Today will be a day brimming with potential ideas. I can almost hear the subtle hum of creativity beginning to stir. Simple thoughts and affirmations like these, repeated consistently, will slowly but surely train your brain to naturally gravitate towards creative thinking. When you actively connect an idea, however small, with your real daily life experiences, it ceases to be just an abstract concept you study or ponder. Instead, it transforms, becoming an integral part of who you are and how you perceive the world. You don't need to conjure up perfectly formed, groundbreaking ideas right away. You don't need to draft long, elaborate plans before your first cup of coffee. Just make it a point to start your day with a few inspiring keywords, some foundational thoughts, or even just 3 or 4 brief lines that capture a creative impulse. You could also take a moment to write a very short message on your phone, something like, Today I will create something truly interesting. Or, my goal is to find one unique angle for my next project. The specific content of what you write or think doesn't matter as much as the act itself. What truly matters is that your brain begins to live and breathe with that creative concept, that initial spark, even before the day's tasks fully commence. Over time, this seemingly minor habit will orchestrate a significant transformation. You will stop mentally translating ideas from one thought process to another. Instead, you will begin to feel creativity as an inherent part of your being rather than merely thinking about it as a separate task. All right, let's move on to habit number 2. Listen for inspiration while doing simple things. Many successful creators now skillfully use the small, often overlooked, quiet moments of their morning routine to actively listen for inspiration. For instance, when they're preparing their breakfast, they might play an uplifting or thought-provoking podcast. While they're brushing their teeth, they might put on a short, engaging story or a piece of instrumental music that ignites their imagination. When they're walking to work or commuting, they might listen to a compelling talk or an insightful audio article. They don't passively wait for perfect silence or a dedicated classroom setting to learn and be inspired. Instead, they ingeniously utilize these everyday mundane moments to feed their creative minds. Listening in this way is akin to watering a plant. If you tend to it a little bit every single day, your brain remains alive, vibrant, and incredibly fresh. And please don't worry if you don't fully comprehend every single word or concept. You absolutely don't have to. Even if you only grasp half of what you're hearing, your ears are still actively learning, adapting, and growing. Your brain is unconsciously becoming accustomed to the rhythm, the tone, and the subtle nuances of delivery, all of which contribute to your overall understanding and creative intake. Over time, you will instinctively begin to catch familiar phrases, recognize recurring patterns in arguments or stories, and effortlessly guess meanings without the need for conscious translation. That's precisely how fluent and effective creators listen. Not primarily to study or memorize, but to deeply feel the language, the flow of ideas, and the essence of the inspiration being shared. You can start with something relatively short, perhaps just 5 or 10 minutes of dedicated listening. The true secret here is not in the duration of your listening session, but in the unwavering consistency of the routine itself. If you commit to starting every morning with a few minutes of inspiring sound, your brain will naturally and smoothly switch into a creative processing mode. Later in the day, when you're faced with the need to generate ideas or articulate your thoughts, you'll undoubtedly notice that your streams of consciousness and your expressions emerge faster and much more smoothly. Morning listening establishes a calm, confident, and deeply integrated connection with your source of inspiration. It seamlessly becomes an organic part of your life, rather than merely another item on your to-do list or part of your dreaded homework. Part 3. All right, let's move on to habit number 3. Read something small but consistent every single day. Many successful creators also cherish the habit of reading in the morning. They don't dedicate hours upon hours to reading. Instead, they just read a little bit. Perhaps it's just one page of a book. It could be one short article on a topic they're passionate about, or maybe just a few inspirational lines, a handful of motivational sentences that set a positive tone for their day. Reading in the morning is a fantastic way to gently wake up your mind, filling it with new words, concepts, and ideas. You don't feel any pressure to analyze or memorize. You're not studying in a formal sense. You're simply engaging with something that genuinely makes you feel curious, happy, or creatively stimulated. You can read about travel, personal motivation, a new recipe, a fascinating sport, or absolutely anything else you genuinely enjoy. The specific topic doesn't truly matter. What matters most is that you like it. That when you actively enjoy what you're reading, your brain naturally relaxes. In this relaxed state, new words, phrases, and intricate ideas begin to stay longer and more firmly embedded in your memory. You can keep a small, inspiring book right next to your bed, or you can easily read content on your phone or tablet. Even just 2 or 3 minutes of focused reading can be incredibly beneficial. Try to consciously make this a consistent habit. For example, every morning, immediately after you drink your first glass of water or your morning coffee, commit to reading just one paragraph of a compelling article or a chapter from an inspiring book. It will gradually transform into a small, yet profoundly pleasant, daily ritual. Gradually, step by step, you will undeniably notice that you begin to understand complex information faster, and new ideas and concepts will start to make intuitive sense automatically. You will also begin to think more predominantly in a creative mode, because consistent reading provides rich nourishment for your thoughts and imagination. It's akin to giving your brain a soft, idea-packed breakfast every single day. Now for habit number 4, speak your ideas out loud, even to yourself. This particular habit might sound a little bit peculiar or even funny at first, but believe me, it is one of the most remarkably effective practices for fostering creativity. Successful creators often talk to themselves. Yes, really. They articulate their thoughts aloud. They describe what they are currently doing, what they are feeling in that moment, or what they are meticulously planning for the day ahead. They might say things like, "I'm boiling some water for my tea, which will help me focus. I need to find a unique angle for this new video concept. I feel incredibly excited about the creative possibilities today holds." It truly doesn't matter if no one else is listening to you. It absolutely doesn't matter if you make a few mistakes in your verbalization. Speaking your thoughts out loud forces your mouth and your mind to work in unison. When you speak, your tongue, your lips, and the muscles in your face and throat actively practice forming sounds, articulating words, and constructing sentences. You become more accustomed to hearing your own voice expressing creative ideas. This practice naturally helps you start to sound more confident and natural when you eventually share your ideas with others. If you happen to be a bit shy, you can easily do this quietly, almost a whisper. Or you can simply pretend you're having a conversation with a close friend or a trusted mentor. The ultimate goal here is not to achieve perfect eloquence. The overarching goal is to forge a stronger, more fluid connection between your internal thoughts and your external voice. Every morning, make a conscious effort to verbalize a few of your creative thoughts. Perhaps when you're making tea, you can say, "I love the smell of this tea. It truly inspires a sense of calm creativity within me." When you're looking into the mirror, you might affirm, "I look ready for a day full of creative breakthroughs." These seemingly small, often overlooked moments, when compounded over time, make a tremendously significant difference in your creative fluency. Let's move to habit number 5. Review and repeat something you learned before. Highly effective creators understand a fundamental truth. Learning something just once is rarely sufficient for deep integration. They grasp that consistent repetition is the bedrock upon which strong memory and ingrained understanding are built. Therefore, many of them wisely dedicate a few minutes each morning to consciously reviewing something they've previously learned. Perhaps they revisit new keywords or fresh ideas that emerged yesterday. Maybe they repeat a few useful creative expressions or brainstorming techniques. It could even involve re-listening to a short video or rereading an inspiring article that they had previously engaged with. When you review information or ideas in the morning, your brain is still calm and receptive, free from the day's later distractions. In this state, you tend to remember things much faster and more effectively. Successful creators understand that reviewing content is not a tedious or boring task. On the contrary, it is a remarkably smart and efficient strategy. It's precisely how they ensure that their creative knowledge and skills feel completely natural, automatic, and readily accessible whenever inspiration strikes. Next, habit number 6. Write one small thought. Writing is another beautiful and profoundly effective morning habit for nurturing creativity. It acts as a powerful tool to clear your mind of clutter and enhances your ability to express yourself creatively. You absolutely don't have to compose a lengthy essay or an elaborate plan. Just 1 or 2 concise sentences are often more than enough to achieve the desired effect. You can choose to write about how you currently feel, what you specifically plan to achieve creatively, or perhaps something you are genuinely grateful for. For example, you might write, "I feel incredibly relaxed today, and I envision creating a soothing minimalist video," or "I'm truly excited to encounter and develop new ideas today." Writing serves a dual purpose. It helps you articulate and organize your feelings and thoughts in a structured manner. And it also provides a tangible record that allows you to clearly see your creative progress over time. Many effective creators maintain a small, personal idea journal. They commit to writing just a few lines in it every single morning, capturing fleeting thoughts before they disappear. And now, we arrive at the final pivotal habit. Habit number 7. Set a small goal for the day. Highly effective creators frequently begin their day with one simple, attainable creative goal. This practice is instrumental in keeping them consistently motivated and sharply focused throughout their day. The goal you set doesn't have to be monumental or overwhelmingly ambitious. In fact, smaller, more manageable goals often prove to be far more effective precisely because they are easier to accomplish, providing frequent boosts of satisfaction and momentum. Perhaps your goal is simply to listen to one inspiring podcast segment. Maybe it's to actively try and use a new keyword or a novel visual concept in your current project. Goals, by their very nature, also provide invaluable direction. They instill a sense that your creative journey is progressive, purposeful, and heading somewhere meaningful. And that, my friends, concludes our exploration for today. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, where we delved into the transformative power of morning habits for creativity. I sincerely hope this discussion inspires you to meticulously craft your very own, personalized creative morning routine. Always remember, small, consistent actions performed every single day without fail inevitably bring about tremendously big, impactful results. You are doing great on your creative journey. Keep going, keep learning, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep living your creativity to its fullest potential. Goodbye for now.